What's good, listeners? Welcome to the season 13 finale of the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam?
Oh my gosh, fabulous. I'm all
Oh my gosh.
all recovered from my Spartan race and doing pretty good.
Yeah, so, for anybody that has no idea what a Spartan race is and what the hell you just did and how you even injured yourself, could you even explain to the CCS family what happened?
So, well, actually, so just so you know, so Spartan race, you run up and down trails, you climb things, you roll under things, you rope climb, you swing, just like fun, real athletic stuff. And I came in first for my age group and second for women. I rocked it, and then I accidentally jumped down on something and impaled my thigh.
Oh my gosh!
It was really funny. It's like 2 inches deep. Like it was.
How was that funny though? Pain's not funny.
Feel it. I actually didn't feel it. No, I didn't feel it. I thought I just bruised myself, but come to find
So, are
out,
you considering possibly doing American Ninja Warrior? Is that even still around? I mean, that'd be pretty badass.
I was surprised at how good I was. So I'm doing a 10K Spartan at the end of January, and then a 21K in a few months. So yeah.
So, okay, I understand that you got a 2-inch gap, puncture in your thigh, but like, what was the obstacle that you were doing? Were you kind of like, I know how like some people kind of climb up those like rope ladders. Were you like thinking, instead of like crawling down, I want to jump off, and that's how you got hurt?
It was a metal like helix, so there was like these different sides to it, and so I'd ask the girl because no one was around me because I was up front, and I was like, so what do I do? The side, top, and she goes, it doesn't matter. So the fastest way was to climb all the way on top and go across it. So I started doing that. And when I was on top climbing, the guy on the other side was like, no, you have to be on this side. And I could see all these handholds, so it made sense. I was like, cool. So I just like jumped down and I felt a bang. And I was like, that's gonna leave a bruise, right? And so like I finished the race and I was sitting there waiting, and come to find out, like when I jumped down, what I thought was just the bang was two metal edges. And I guess I jumped down with such force that 2 inches of it went through my thigh, about this big.
Oh my gosh.
But it didn't rip my pants. Like my pants weren't ripped or anything. Like it was really funny. I didn't feel any pain until a couple days later when it started.
Well, your adrenaline was like so high. I can only imagine that, like you just were like so focused on completing the race. I think that's pretty badass, Marissa. So like I said, anybody that's listened to this show for 13 seasons know now that you do not want to mess around with Marissa Pitts. She could literally kick my ass, and there's a reason why we're in two different locations. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. Just so funny.
We have to kind of talk about some of the breaking news that's happening this morning, Marissa, because Elon Musk is facing growing backlash this Friday from lawmakers on both sides of the Atlantic, the United States and Europe, with threats of fines and sanctions after Twitter suspended the accounts of at least 8 journalists on Thursday night without warning. So some of the suspended accounts include Ryan Mack of the New York Times, Donnie O'Sullivan of CNN, and Drew Harwell of the Washington Post. And it was unclear why the suspensions were or had anything in common. I know he was tweeting something late last night, Marissa, something about assassination coordinates, because I guess he was sharing an article, with the previous kid.
No, what people
I guess it was about the whole previous kid with the whole sharing his jet log, where he's flying.
People aren't necessarily upset about the Elon Musk, the kid, the 21-year-old who is like tracking his, which is open to the public. So he's not doing anything illegal, tracking his city to city flying, right? Now, what they are up in arms about, so to say, is that he suspended the journalist that tweeted about, hey, this happened of this guy's link. So they weren't sharing the coordinates. They were actually reporting on what happened.
But why would Elon just tweet that, though? That's so random, in my opinion.
Because supposedly that his family, his son was in a car, and there was someone that chased his car down, and he says it's because they found out where the coordinates were from that website. So he is afraid for his family. So I can understand that, but he got a little too far with the journalists, and anytime you start messing with journalists or politicians, it's going to backlash.
Exactly. And I think it wasn't necessarily very clear. I guess a lot of these 8 journalists kind of just thought it was a joke at first, when they got the email. They were just like, how could this possibly be true? There's no explanation of even why I got suspended. Obviously, we're starting to hear it. I mean, this has been less than 24 hours that this is developing, and I'm sure later today, CCS family, you will hear more about Elon Musk and the debacle that's happening at the Twitter headquarters. But I just want to let everybody know we got a kick-ass show for everybody for our season 13 finale of the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, as we got theatrical rocker from Austin, Texas, Demi the Daredevil. He's going to be coming on the show talking about his brand new EP, My Purgatorium, out now wherever you listen to music. And also, don't forget to check out our brand new music podcast, Off the Fret. More music talk, featuring pop rockers from Los Angeles, California. They are known as Poe the Passenger, as our 7th installment. And since you're here right now, make sure you click the subscribe button so you never miss a live show. And Marissa, I think it's time that we rock and roll. This one's called Say It.
I'm beyond livid.
That's what's been irking me like crazy.
Psycho X.
We hope that he grows from this.
No, legit, I was trying to figure that out also.
Whatever's on our mind, that was something that's been griping.
So, I get to just say it.
That's my question, Marissa. You know the drill. This is Say It, where Marissa and I are going to discuss all the latest news that's circulating around the world. And a year after the Golden Globes met widespread controversy for its lack of diversity in its voting body and its existence as a way to kind of scam money out of Hollywood, the award show is returning to NBC. And here are some of the top nominations. So I have Best Television Series Drama, which you can see Better Call Saul, The Crown, House of the Dragon, Ozark, and Severance. And let's just kind of start off with that one, Marissa, just to have some fun. Did anything kind of stick out to you in this list? I know I was a real
Ozark.
big fan. Really? Okay,
I think Ozark's going to get it.
I'll let you lead. Why?
I just think it caught a larger audience than I think some of the other shows did. So I really think Ozark is going to lead with this one.
You really? I actually think it's like in dead last compared. I think that's second to last in my opinion. And I'm gonna just show the list again for everybody that's tuning in. Only because I think Severance was it's almost there. I mean, I had a lot of fun watching Severance, but it's not quite the show. I think season 2 is gonna really bring up some of that hype, especially if anybody who saw the season finale. It's really exciting. Ozark, I kind of thought it was the most lackluster season finale ever. I felt like it just kind of ended too fast. They shut down the show.
Yes, season finale, yes, but I mean, it was buzzing for a lot. I mean, and the Saul one also is pretty good, but I think
I was going to say Better Call Saul.
That'd be the second one I would say would get it. So you think it's the first? I think it might be the second.
Yeah, I just have a feeling it's going to be Better Call Saul. I know the House of the Dragon's really good. I had a lot of fun with it. There is a bit of, kind of controversy about how, people were upset that they took such a momentum swing, with the huge age gap. But I thought it was kind of fun. It really kind of pulled me in a lot more than the finale of Game of Thrones. But I just feel like Bob Ortnick has just been slept on. I know they had like one of the most nominations ever when it comes to, the Golden Globes in recent years, and they just can never pull it in. I just thought that season finale was just... I get so speechless when I think about it because it's one of those shows where I think about Breaking Bad. And if you're such a big fan and you've been ignoring Better Call Saul for so long, you will have a bigger admiration for Vince Gilligan and the world that he created that's now officially over, which is sad. I mean, is this what people felt like when they watched The Sopranos? You know what I'm saying, Marissa?
Well, same thing. Anytime I watch a season finale that I know is not coming back and that's it, or if I finish reading a book that's it, I get it feels like someone died, like a loved one. Well, that's it. Like that.
Doesn't it?
More? Yeah, it really is impactful.
It really is. And I know let's definitely go ahead and showcase some of the best actors that were nominated in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. We got Diego Calva, Daniel Craig, Adam Driver, Colin Farrell, and Ralph Fiennes. I'm probably butchering his name. But, I think the problem with the Golden Globes is like, obviously, we'll just show the best actress as well. We got Kate Blanchett, Olivia Colman, Anna Damaris, Viola Davis, and Michelle Williams. Some of the films listed, and I'll even go back to Best Actor, are not even out yet. So how can we even Do we have any trust still?
Well,
I know that they had a lot of bullshit with their diverse body.
I think it's still going to be BS. I think it's still paid off. It's whoever can pay them the most. Whoever has the best marketing. It's still all just a sham.
Maybe we have to keep a close eye on that. I mean, obviously it's being broadcasted on NBC. I mean, if anybody who knows what studio heads are behind him, maybe there is a little bit of edge on it. I always just kind of joked, even last year. Remember, Marissa, we brought this up and we're like, yeah, it's all cool that you're bringing in more, more females into the mix. You're bringing in more, people of color, which I think is a must. But the thing that they're still missing is the age gap. Like, we need to bring some of the younger, generations into the mix. And I know they like to kind of keep it with industry leaders, but guess what? There are some really kick-ass young industry leaders out there today who I believe can have a vocal voice on this. But hey, all we know is there's a lot of drama that's spewing with the Golden Globes, and Brandon Fraser was also nominated for Best Actor at the 2023 Golden Globes, despite saying that he won't show up because he previously accused one of the former Hollywood Foreign Press Association presidents of sexual assault. So let us know what you think. Are you going to be watching the Golden Globes, or is it just a dud of an award show? But let's go on to the next topic of conversation. Oh, I meant to hit the sound bite, but I already jumped right to it. I am such a mess right now, Marissa. I just hit 2 sound bites at once. People were like, what was that?
I've totally done it. I've been there, done that. So I got you. Don't worry.
Oh, it's totally funny. So here, this is, obviously 2 of the top scorers on the planet face off this Sunday in the 2022 FIFA World Cup final, when Argentina and France square off at Lusail Stadium. But to me, CCS family, that's not the real story, in my opinion. If you follow anything that's happening in the betting world, this is just absolutely insane. And I'm going to go ahead and show that clip that I already kind of sort of teased just now. There's a gentleman named Daniel Forte who had a $26 parlay that could potentially become $557,000. He's got 6 of the 7 correct finals. As you can clearly see here, he guessed the NCAA men's win. He guessed that the Golden State Warriors were going to beat the NBA Finals, kind of like what Marissa said. Colorado Avalanche, she guessed that. AC Milan, LAFC, Man City, and now he needs France to pull it all in. And I know that the guys at Bleacher Report Betting have been following Daniel on his journey, and I always tell people all the time, anybody that follows that Instagram account knows that the minute you link up with one of the correspondents for the Bleacher Report Betting, they immediately jinx every bettor. Okay. Every person that they feature is going to get jinxed. And he even said previously, before the World Cup started, if France meets up with Argentina, I think I have to do the cash out. And guys, the cash out has been one of the things that has been offered to him. And so he can walk away with $283,000 ahead of the finals, or should he let it ride?
No way. I take it.
I would take it as well. I just feel like it's insane.
You know what? If France wins, which I do think France will win, then you know what? Yeah, you lost $250,000. But if they lost,
I know.
Could you imagine going through your whole life? Could you imagine going through your whole life being like, I really could have used $250,000 right now?
Exactly.
I would just take the money and say,
Right. And if you're listening, and if you like the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show, listen to my co-host Marissa Pitts and I. Please take the money and run. You've already did an amazing feat that I don't think a lot of bettors are going to be able to do in a very long time. So obviously, Lionel Messi is the world's number 2 goal scorer of all times, and Mbappe, he's one of the best young strikers in the world, and they're both tied, Messi and Mbappe, for the most goals at Qatar with 5. So let's go on and move to the next topic of conversation, which I'm just so freaking amazed that this cat is even relevant, even going into the year 2023. So Billy McFarland, you guys might remember this guy. You remember those famous orange tile promos that you used to see on Instagram about 4 years ago? Well, he's the entrepreneur behind Fry Festival, one of the most disastrous millennial getaways that never ended up happening. Someone who bought $1,500 worth a ticket to this live event that influencers and creators and all these musicians were going to show up, that None of them even knew what was even going to happen. Remember, Blink-182 thought it was going to be a kick-ass show, and then all of a sudden it never ended up going down. Well, he is back with his new dream, which sounds even wilder than the one that landed him in prison for nearly 4 years. And the con man behind the disastrous Fry Festival is back with a new virtual event he claims will feature a live stream of, quote, artists and creators having fun in the Bahamas. So I actually have a clip of the promo.
Pirate is not a festival. It's not an event, and it's definitely not a metaverse. Pirate is a technology that I've been working on for the past couple of years called the VIDR, the Virtual Immersive Decentralized Reality. So what the VIDR is a technology that brings together and connects people from around the world, both virtually and physically. Then, once they're together, it allows people to actually affect real-world change.
Why do always these dickheads always try to say it's not the metaverse, but then literally explain a metaverse?
Well, I think it would have been a lot better than his little whiteboard with the chimney in the back if he was maybe in a virtual reality trying to sell
exactly.
this.
You know what's really funny too, Marissa?
Reality, then?
If you go ahead and
there, and that's an avatar.
Well, I know Twitter kept suspending his Pirate Festival account, but if you actually go on Billy McFarland's Twitter account, you'll actually see even more videos where he's trying to explain to people, hey, you want to join the street team? It's a really small group. We don't have a lot of money. We're still looking for backers. So if anybody wants to show up and go to the party, let us know. So how could you even claim that artists and creators are going to show up to this event when you haven't even listed one single soul that's even behind you?
It's shocking that he's doing this after spending 4 years in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm legitimately, wouldn't you think you would try to come up with a less of a Ponzi scheme?
It's so weird.
Less of something that someone's going to sue you about. It's like, I just see this going bad. This is going to go bad.
Well, he keeps talking about how this is like on a virtual, immersive, decentralized reality. And what he means by that is you can literally be joining in on the fun, I guess, from your computer, and you can watch them be drinking and partying while you're not there. And you can literally buy the talent a drink. Like, who the hell is going to do that? That's his idea. Is like, hey, you want to buy this celebrity a drink? Maybe you might shout out your name on screen. Well, this guy, again, was the person who brought thousands of people, paying as much as $12,000, promising to mingle with people like Kendall Jenner and Gigi and Pusha T and all these people to show up again at the Bahamas, which is funny that this is even being hosted at the Bahamas again. I think it has to do with something that he has all these fines that he has to pay the Bahama government. So we'll see where that goes, but let's move on to the next big item of business that's been really kind of having people split, especially with people who are fans of James Gunn, who are also questioning his new leadership with the DC universe, because Superman will indeed be back on the big screen. It just won't be Henry Cavill. DC Studios' newly named co-head, James Gunn, announced that any future plans with Cavill has been shelved, and it hasn't even been a full 2 months since Superman was seen with the big S on his chest in the Black Adam post-credit scene. Sorry, I spoiled it for everybody, but guess what? It doesn't even matter anymore. It's not going anywhere. So even the man, the myth himself, it was kind of sad. I'm not going to lie. I mean, he posted this really sad Instagram account basically saying that he met with James Gunn and the other co-head, Peter Safran. They, obviously announced that he would return back in October, but then they want to change the guard. And with the new direction that James Gunn wants to do, which is bring a new young Superman into the mix, Henry wouldn't fit into the mix. And I know a lot of people were skeptical about it. I personally think, Marissa, we haven't really seen a young Superman before. I know a lot of people had a lot of questions when Tom Holland got brought into the mix to play Spider-Man, and look what he's done. I mean, he's probably right up there with Tobey Maguire as one of the best Spider-Mans of all time. So do you have any faith in James Gunn? I personally do, because I felt like the Snyderverse was an absolute disaster.
Good. Yeah, I honestly think that I'm looking forward to the new Superman. I want to see what they do. Am I sad, as an actor to an actor, that he lost really lucrative deals? Of course. But this is, it's just showbiz. It is showbiz. What's going to happen? And he'll find another role. He's going to still make money. He's a fabulous actor, and he'll keep it going. And I'm really excited to see this young Superman. But
like you just said, Hollywood is a very cold business. I mean, we obviously heard the news that Hemsworth was going to be replacing Henry Cavill for The Witcher. And then a couple months later, Superman lands on him. And I know a lot of people are like, where is he going to go? What is he going to do next? Well, literally that same day, Henry Cavill announced alongside with Amazon that he's actually going to be adapting a video game into a television series, Warhammer. So that'll be kind of fascinating. I think that's kind of the cool thing, Marissa, because there's so many adaptions of Warhammer over the years.
Warhammer, so I know that one. I know. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and like I think with Warhammer, it has a little bit more leverage to kind of do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Maybe obviously you got to kind of stay true to the, the video game storyline, but the last I recall with those video games, there's multitude of different stories taking place. The storyline's very lucid and fluid. And I think, he's gonna excel in the career that he does. And by the way, I just had a random thought, and we'll move on from the whole DC universe shakeup. Maybe Henry Cavill's not necessarily out after all as Superman. I kind of had a dream last night waking up that Henry Cavill actually comes back as a mutant of Superman and actually fights the young Superman. So who is the real Superman?
How weird would that be awesome? If that actually came through and we're like, oh, Chris called it.
I know,
give
right?
Me my lottery numbers. Give me lottery numbers, Chris. I want lottery numbers.
He'll show up in his infamous black Superman suit, and then we're all going to be like, no way! And it's going to be probably one of the most epic sequels or trilogies in James Gunn Superman world. So let's go on to the next crazy fiasco that's been happening across the globe. Actually, this is pretty wild. It's not been a good few weeks for this 30-year-old, Marissa.
No, it's not.
Not at all,
shitty
right?
Turn to your life. A shitty turn to your life. That's all I'm saying.
Can you even guess who we're talking about? Sam Bankman-Fried is the gentleman who we're talking about. After the collapse of FTX and SBF's subsequent failure to secure a bailout, the fallen crypto magnate has claimed that he has almost nothing left in his bank account. However, that's likely to be the least of his worries, Marissa, because as he's currently facing potential criminal charges in the U.S., with calls of him to be hauled in front of Congress to explain why the billions of dollars of users' funds appear to have vanished into thin air. And this got to be probably the biggest Ponzi scheme of all times. And why did the Bahama government arrest him the day before Congress was going to bring him in? Doesn't that kind of feel a bit shaky?
Well, yes, obviously. Yes. But all I have to comment on this little area is, when will anybody who makes money realize if they can please stay away from politics? Please stay away from politics. You're going to get screwed.
Oh, are you talking about Maxine Waters, who was trying to cut the Congress hearing short and forgot that everybody has a voice to question FTX?
Well, the same thing. Like, she's already, in politics. But anybody who's a celebrity, Trump got into politics, and look at how much legal problems he's now facing, right? You have this guy, they're saying he's buying politicians left and right with money that doesn't exist. Well,
you know what this kind of made me think about?
Just take your money, go in the Bahamas, get a suntan, drink your pina colada, and stay away from politics. Like, I don't understand how hard that is. That's what I would do.
Well, you know what this kind of made me think about? It was kind of two things, Marissa. Obviously, there's a lot of celebrities that are getting dragged under the carpet. I could think of people like Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. We got Steph Curry. Also, Trevor Lawrence. Remember, he had all those sexy commercials before the NFL season. And even Tom Brady has been one of the spokespeople for FTX. I feel like this is such a bigger ordeal because I feel like the value of crypto is only valued by the creators and influencers who back your product. Because essentially, I'm kind of with the Chase Bank CEO. Crypto is a pet rock. And I start to think about past guests like, so-called crypto billionaire Brock Pierce. How much of a billionaire he really was? I mean, when you think about it, a lot of these kind of people who are in the crypto world, I feel like you could just claim that you're a billionaire, but at the same time, that has been the center.
He lives a billionaire life. I'll tell you that much. That guy flies everywhere.
Haven't we all seen that before about the influence of social media and how one image could maybe tell a story, but behind the scenes, you don't really see it all? That was kind of my first reaction. It's like, how much are these crypto billionaires really billionaires? Obviously Sam Bankman is. He embezzled all this billions of dollars and then got into a war with Binance, which Kevin O'Leary was claiming during the Congress hearing that he believes that Binance has something to do with siphoning out that money as kind of like an FU way to bring down FTX. But then there are some people behind the scenes that are claiming this will be a major win for crypto when we siphon out these losers like Sam Freeman, a bankman who, is clearly manipulating the system.
Once it gets regulated more, and the governments can't even wrap their head around what is crypto, how to make crypto.
That's the truth.
I mean, they can't wrap their head around it. There's like, what?
I feel like a lot of people still can't wrap their head around crypto. And I think you have a great point, because if you think about it, Congress is still using fax machines today. So why the hell do we have these baby boomers and Yankee Doodles talking about crypto when maybe we should have some young cats get into the mix and kind of explain to them that, overall, you probably should have learned about stocks, millennials and Gen Zs. Why invest in crypto when it is such a freaking scam? But hey, let's move on to another topic of conversation, because it's going to be developing over and over again throughout the next week into the new year. But yeah, this is not a funny matter. TikTok recommends self-harm and eating disorder content to some users within minutes of joining the platform, according to a new report published Wednesday by the Center for Countering Digital Hate. So the new study had researchers set up a TikTok account posing as a 13-year-old user interested in content about body image and mental health. It found that within as few as 2.6 minutes after joining the app on TikTok, the algorithms would recommend suicidal content. The report also showed that eating disorder content was recommended within as few as 8 minutes. And, 60 Minutes had a really incredible interview with some of the young college sophomores who are kind of leading this movement to put more pressure on TikTok. They also interviewed families who were impacted by these terrible algorithms. I absolutely believe it, Marissa, because when you think about it, we've joked previously on the show. It's like anytime we just recently joined on TikTok, you scroll like every 3 to 5 posts, you're going to see, at least on my end, I'm always seeing some girl with massive yonkers or big ass, and she's just bouncing around on the screen. And I'm just thinking,
mine don't show that, but
But that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, why are they always like focusing it on me? And that's why I'm bringing the single camera on me. Why does TikTok want to show me big old titties and, big old asses all the time, 24/7? Do you think that, that's been the topic of conversation? That's why there's a bipartisan bill that's being laid out going to the House and the Senate about TikTok's algorithm. Because people say all the time, China, their users, they often see, engineers or health people, like people doing inspiring things, when here in America, I guess we're being fed junk. How do we fix that?
Well, I mean, China does have a big hold on what their people can see. So it doesn't surprise me that theirs is very filtered. And then just everything goes to America and they make a bunch of money off us. I'm still surprised TikTok hasn't been banned. I'm just really surprised still. And I'm not for banning social medias in that sense. I personally think if you don't want your kid on it or you don't want to be on it, like, just don't go on it. It's very simple. But I can say that TikTok has had more problems than positive effects on people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I apologize, CCS family. I've been dealing with a tad cough. So if I start coughing during the show, that's why, the flu's definitely going around. But, there was reports that also featured a video of a teen crying with words on the screen saying, "You're not thinking of taking your life, right?" Making a reference to a TV character named Sarah Lynn, who is in a popular Netflix animated series, BoJack Horseman, who on the show dies from an overdose. And that video garnished over 387,000 likes. And there was also another video that linked to a website called prettyscale.com, a website where users can upload pictures of their body and face, and then it can rank your attractiveness based off a mathematical formula. This is being geared towards your 13-year-old child. And if I think there's anything that we could do moving forward, maybe TikTok needs to be regulated where it's 18 and over. Or, obviously we have to have the parents step up.
Well, Facebook,
you have to.
Facebook, you're
Well,
supposed to be
I know
18
we have to
older.
kind of move on, and I wish we could stay on a
Yeah.
little bit longer, but I know with like Instagram's policy, and I believe TikTok is the same way. You have to be 13
Stop
years or
buying your
older.
damn teenagers' phones. Buy them
Yes,
flip
that too.
phones.
But
Buy
you
them
have to be
little flip
13 years
phones.
or older to even be on the app. But there have been previous cases where 11-year-olds just can lie
I know
about,
parents that are
being
putting
13 years
their
old.
kids on it. Like,
Marissa, I
this
guess the
comes down to
point that I'm
parents.
trying to tell you is if they can find ways to do that on Tinder and Hinder and Grindr, to be able to identify your age and who you are, I think they can implement that system into TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and so on. So be it. So that's all I would say. But we got to move on. I had more things to discuss, but we got an amazing kick-ass guest that's going to be joining us at the half-hour block. So stick around as we got more left on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. What's good, listeners? Our guest live on Strike a Chord is rock and roller from Austin, Texas, who has garnished over 4.5 million streams on Spotify, is Demi the Daredevil, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. How's it going, my man?
What's up, man? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you on, brother. How you been?
Hey, I've been good. I was just listening to you guys talk, and there was a little bit of a lag, so I was getting into what you were talking about with the TikTok and some crypto. So it's very cool topics you're covering.
Well,
Is there
thank
anything
you.
that kind of stuck out with you? I mean, that you kind of filling in the mix.
I thought it was interesting that TikTok was like hurting mental health. I don't know if that was compared to the other platforms, but that's pretty interesting because I hear both sides. I hear that TikTok is like, oh, this is where we can be honest and it's more uplifting, but at the same time, it seems like all social media is like making us more envious and more destructive in that way. So I know that it doesn't seem like it's got good and bad, but it's interesting.
Isn't that the truth, Jeff? I mean, I know that like a lot of the themes, even in your own music, kind of address mental health and your self-being. And for anybody that's listening to you and your music right now, what is the message that you want to get across to the CCS family?
Oh man, well, I think a lot of it is it's deep, meaningful, substantial subject matter. So like when I'm thinking about my I still go through existential crisis all the time, but like when I was deep into that, when I was a little bit younger, it seemed like there was nobody that was caring about talking about deeper topics of psychology or philosophy or spirituality, just these questions where we're confused and we're scared about how life works. So that's the main thing I want to give answers to certain things like that and help people in that scary place. And also just creating a place, like a safe, creepy place, we say, where you can come and talk about your weird life and not have any judgment and be an accepting place. So I think we all need to be honest and not kind of bottle it up and just kind of be ashamed of what we're really going through. So that's really those things, I think.
Absolutely. And I know let's kind of switch gears, because I know when I was talking with you real briefly before the show, you were jam-packed in a van, heading over to Houston, Texas. And what was that feeling like to be touring again?
Well, we just it was great. We just got off a tour in November with a TikTok artist, TX2 in November, and that was really a great experience. We were, but it was amazing and also very hard on the body a little bit. We were sleep deprived, but it was very fun. And right now we're on tour with a van full of nuns, and they're these legends here locally, I guess. And I know, isn't that a great name?
Yeah, you got me laughing.
Yeah,
I can only imagine what a van full of nuns and virgins. Is that what you said?
Yeah, dude. I thought when I first heard that name, I thought it was literally they're all like going to be dressed as nuns in a van. But they just, I think that's a great name. Yeah,
I like how the nuns and the devil are traveling together.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Marissa. I was like, that's hilarious. But Jeff,
we complement each other so well. Yeah. No.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Jeff, it's my understanding that Demi the Daredevil got started during a tennis match. How so?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I played tennis for a bit in high school, and somebody I was playing with, he was trying to sing, and so he's like, "Hey, you're a drummer. Come play drums with these other two guys, phenomenal guitarists." And then he didn't end up singing for us, but the guitarist started singing, and that's how I got introduced to the founder of this band. And so yeah, we went on for a while. He passed away. I went back to college, and then I just kept on with this name. Kind of, and I was thinking about it today. It was kind of weird how I had no skill whatsoever outside of just showing up and playing drums. And then I just said, I'm wanting to dedicate my life to art in some way before I had any skill. And then the rest came, where it was lyrics and then, melodies, and then, putting all the parts together. So that came first. So I thought that was interesting so I'm going off on a tangent, but like identity.
No, I was going to say, Jeff, is like, because I saw in a 2018 Facebook post, you told fans, quote, "I was forced to become the front man," which is, to me, is kind of a bit of a shocker, because you come across as such a natural. I view you as kind of a theatrical rocker, which in my personal opinion, those are kind of some of my favorite vocalists today, because you really kind of bring out that energy live on stage. And have you ever viewed yourself as being like the daredevil that comes out on stage, or is it a mix of both?
I've never like in my day-to-day living, you would never suspect that I could let loose that much, probably on stage. I'm just so introverted and shy, I guess, but then on stage it seems to be, I'm not sure what it is, but I kind of just my mom was a choreographer, she was a dance teacher, and my sisters were in dance, so I saw a lot of them just being like really flamboyant in the household. Maybe that affected me.
Well, I also knew that in high school you were in the marching
Yeah.
band as well, so I feel like there's a bit of a marching band, My Chemical Romance, Black Parade, you know what I'm saying, mixed with a little bit of the choreography with your mom and your sisters.
Oh, that's amazing. That's the best compliment ever. I go gaga for Gerard Way and
Yeah,
No, I mean, I
same.
really do, man. I think you could be an amazing opening act for that group right now. And if they're listening right now, what are you waiting for, My Chemical Romance? You know, Jeff is here to stay, my man. Demi the Daredevil is a real hoot. And I love you guys a lot, because you're such a natural vocalist. And I also saw online that you wanted to enhance your skills as a singer by focusing more on lip trills and diction. So for anybody who's not a vocalist, who's not musically savvy, what does lip trills and diction even mean?
So lip trills, I think that's just a way to increase your get in touch with maybe diaphragm. So it's for breath speed, I think. So if you don't, like, lip trills get you to get connected with your breath speed, I think.
With your it's your diaphragm, and then it
Diaphragm.
connects into with your transverse, and then as it comes out, using your articulators. Yeah. and have
Okay,
it come
all
So
out.
you're basically saying you don't want to sound like
with you,
Vince
Jeff. I
O'Neill
like
in the
it.
latest. Yeah, it sounds like you don't want to sound like Vince O'Neill in the latest Motley Crue tour. You know, basically running out of breath every single time he's trying to sing on stage.
No, that's exactly, dude. Yeah, so there's that, and then diction is just it seems that's, I remember when I first started, people were like, yeah, when I read your lyrics, they're great, but I can't understand anything you're saying. It's all a slur. So I have to, you'd be like your consonants, and make sure that you're closing the vowels so you can understand what you're saying. So yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really awesome. I think more singers actually need to do that. Some people do it just subconsciously, but when you are really invested, like you, Jeff, on there, it's amazing what our voice can change and do and become. Right?
Yeah.
It always keeps growing. It's never just like a mono stay. Like, so it's pretty awesome. I love that. I love that you do that.
Totally. I was horrible. Anyone, when I first started, there a lot of people were just like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, you're some people are singers, some people are not. But I'm glad that I just stuck with it. I definitely was not natural to begin with. So yeah, you're right. We could become something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. And I know the music video that we're about to play on Strike a Chord is your track, The Martyr's Crown. And aside from the, extremely evocative lyrics, you question the concept of a God and the purpose of a religion. And has life become your own purgatory?
I think it did, maybe to me, like, our default is that purgatory state where we just kind of are born into, maybe, to me, this is my perspective, that like original sin is like your natural biological disposition. When you first get born, your brain is faulty. And so I just think that this is the purgatory is just like this place in between place of there's freedom up here, and then down here is like misery that we do to ourselves, and we're like victimhood and all the hate and lust and all these things, the traps that we fall into. So I feel like, yeah, we start in purgatory and then we have to like fight our way out. And how do we do that? And that's the question of what is God exactly, and how does all that work? So yeah.
Are you a religious guy by any chance? I know me personally, I'm not like necessarily for organized religion, but I don't believe that you have to show up to church every Sunday to prove that you're one with God. I obviously believe in a higher being, but what is your philosophy in this world and life?
I was raised Catholic, so I was raised religious, and I think that for me, it's not about showing up to church, and it's not about checking off the boxes or
the 10% tithing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to heaven. 10%, baby. 10%.
That's right.
Yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, I think that it all comes down to like, what are these messages and how do they serve us? What's the point of them? And if we don't understand the point of them, then it doesn't work. And so like I've seen, so you can have people praying nonstop and it's still life doesn't work out. And sometimes it's just a total tragedy where they just starve to death. And I just think that it's good to break it down. And some people, I'm so jealous that they are able to have faith right away. But how do we get to that open place and believe and trust life more? And what are these laws of life that we have to follow? So I'm big into like, you got to have a still mind, you got to have gratitude, you got to change your belief system because your subconscious just does whatever you tell it to. So I think it's about feeding ourselves these affirmations so it automatically works for you. So I think that's like the stuff that the Bible is saying. But we get caught up, I think, in the narrative a little bit too much and take it too literally. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty about your music. And that's why I love your new EP, My Purgatorium, because it's very thought-provoking. It definitely makes you want to listen to the EP over and over again to kind of truly get a sense of what Jeff is thinking, but also kind of think about what you were just stating right now. What does your faith mean to you? And I think that's something that everybody has to discover, because you're going to, after all, you're going to have to move that soul train. No one's going to do it for you. And let's go ahead and play Demi the Daredevil's music video, The Martyr's Crown, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Angels say, you stay, you waste, born into building of flames. Their moral take says burn and stay. That's what we call tradition. I tried to save, no capacity to hear me. Obsession, hate things in you, stuck in me. I found a way, but I found a way through sick maze of my psyche. Face down in mud, rosary up, hex off your smoke, illusion. The martyr's crown. distant, I watch this collision. Teardrops fall on our photographs, tossed in the fire. The martyr's crown. The martyr's crown. I cry at the moon, it shrugs its shoulders at the view. The martyr's crown is thrown out the window and into building of flames. Out the window and into building of flames. Out the
Yeah, that's what's good. That is Demi the Daredevil's music video, The Martyr's Crown, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. And this is Strike a Chord, where we interview guests all across the globe, from LA to Nashville, New York to Austin, Texas. And we got Jeff Azar right here, right now on Strike a Chord. So, my man, you know, when you're working on new material for your newly released EP, My Purgatorium, has anything changed from your time working with the original vocalist, Jovan Ortiz, to when, you know, now recording new music?
Definitely. It's just a total 180. He was very maybe more pop I'm kind of saying like pop culture centric, and more clever. Like, he was really clever with his words, and then I think that mine takes an ominous turn. It just is, I don't know if that's the right word. It just seems to be more it's for the emos. It's like you're
A
going
little
through a lot.
darker. It's a little darker. It
A
makes
little
you
darker.
really tap into that part of your soul that we try to hide when we go out into public.
Yeah, totally. That's it. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And what I was reading about you when it came to this brand new EP, My Purgatorium, kind of the theme of this record kind of came by accident. You kind of noticed that, like, a lot of the themes kept kind of questioning the idea of organized religion. Obviously, you brought up at the first block how you were raised Catholic, and even after the release of this record, have you discovered anything new about yourself?
So I guess, it wasn't planned at all. Like, I was working on something called University Series. It was just like, okay, this concept album when I was in college, and then my manager, before we had this label, he was just like, oh, the EP, like, don't do an album if you're not signed. So I was just starting to work on singles, and then the singles all had just like this trend of all this religious words and imagery inadvertently. So then that's how that came about. And yeah, I guess I was just kind of like realizing how unsolidified, unsolved my beliefs were with spiritual stuff, and in just kind of the effects of trauma. So I was working on trauma and talking about mental disability, having bipolar disorder, and then just the effects of bullying, and then religion, just getting those beliefs a little bit more clear. So
Absolutely. And I know, Jeff, what's something that just stuck with me right now is, I'm going to bring Marissa back up on screen, because this has been an ongoing debate throughout season 13. And one of the debates has been, what you just said right now. Your manager was like, hey, man, I know you want to focus on, writing about the lifestyle, about your college, ordeal. But, I want you to kind of focus on writing more singles than actually developing a record. And this has been a big topic of debate, because this is one of the things I feel like is hurting the rock and roll industry right now, where I feel like I always love to listen to my records front to back. I feel like they tell a story. And I think
I'm a single fanatic.
It definitely tells something. But what is your philosophy moving forward into 2023? Is that something that you want to implement a little bit more? Is just only producing singles and less of a full-length album?
I think that the label I'm working with, Adventure Cat, they were kind of saying, hey, some bands are single bands and some are album bands, and you seem like you're an album.
Okay, well, that's
band.
Interesting with the Venture Cat Records. So with that being said, how do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as a singles band, or do you view yourself as a full-length album artist?
I want to do, I think, practically speaking, in terms of just making ends meet and surviving, like it maybe makes sense to do the singles, at least, yeah, because it's quicker and you see the you see the yeah, you're in the,
Let
I mean,
the man speak.
but that's the interesting thing where I feel like you could still nowadays. I think that what people are doing is they are releasing album in single version. If you're Taylor Swift or something, maybe you at least do like 3 singles and then you drop the rest all at once. But maybe if you're like middle ground, you're smaller. If you have an album, maybe you can just release singles one at a time, like the whole way through, and say, okay, here's the next track. Like it's kind of a journey, and you're not kind of like, because it's about, it seems, I think the issue now is like the attention span is just out the window.
Yep, that's true.
So it's like if you release an album all at once, I did that before, and it was like the same kind of effect as if you released just a
Okay,
song
well that's
at
okay.
once.
That's very interesting though, what you just said, Jeff, because that reminds me of one of my favorite rockers, Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse, and he said the same thing. He goes, I put out all this great music, I unloaded all at the same time, and then I feel like there's tracks on there that are complete sleepers that I would like to perform live, but no one knows it. But ever since I've switched towards the single route, now everybody's singing along to my music, and I've been dominated on the Billboard charts ever since. Is that how you view it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I definitely see, if I'm understanding that, like it's like these songs just fall to the wayside, they get buried.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that it would be stronger if it's just one at a time, and then you can actually sit with, oh, I only got, it's like an episode. It's like the way you notice, like with Netflix, for a while, it seemed like it's like, okay, it's all released and everybody binges it in one day.
Yeah.
And then they're
And then
done. And then they forget.
Disney teases you with 1 episode a week.
Yeah,
With a little single. You see that?
HBO
It's all about the
is
money.
doing that too. Yeah, right. So, dude, yeah. So that's what I feel like they picked up on that, and now they're saying no, they're going back to just episodes. So I think maybe episode for.
So
like,
basically, what it is that Marissa's right once again. Singles rule. Singles rule.
But if
But albums are beautiful. I love albums. I buy the whole album, but I'm a
Yeah.
fanatic with singles.
I think that maybe, like, for me, it's just part of the artistic integrity of having a complete concept is so much more, it means so much more. So I think that maybe you could do both. I'm hoping that we can kind of do both.
I would like to think that we could do both as well. I mean, obviously the hip hop industry has been able to figure it out. I think rock and roll is kind of trying to dip their toes into it. Obviously, you're definitely figuring that as well as a young artist, and you got a lot of great things coming for you, my man. And I know one of the music videos that we're about to be playing right now on Strike a Chord is your really kick-ass music video. It's called Withering Heights. You can find this on his brand new EP, My Purgatorium, out now wherever you listen to music. So for anybody who hasn't heard Demi the Daredevil's track, you're about to hear it right now. This is Withering Heights.
Go. My old brain gets hijacked, not at gunpoint reacting like I am. Cause the fear of a villain from back then stayed in hostage mind. Cause the fear of a villain from back then stayed unconscious mind.
Yeah, that is so freaking badass. That song definitely gets me bobbing my head like crazy, Jeff. I love that track, and I know you, the CCS family, is going to be loving his brand new EP, My Purgatorium, out now wherever you listen to music. And since we've discovered you're such a religious man, I have to ask this, Jeff. What do you want from Santa Claus this upcoming holiday season?
Oh my gosh. Well, I want new plugins. If I could just get new plugins for better sounds, that would be amazing. Please, Santa. I'm begging.
Come on, Santa. Don't give him any more coal in his stocking.
Not a big wish.
We love him, my man. I think you got big things coming for you in the year 2023. And, you know, Marissa and I, we love your music. We love your sound.
Very
and we'd love to invite you back on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show in the future. And much success moving on, my friend.
Dude, you guys too. I love your show. Just keep on. Your content is amazing. Just, I'm a fan.
Hey, thanks, brother.
Yeah, you guys
Oh,
are awesome.
stop it.
Thank you. No, don't stop. Keep talking. Keep talking.
It's
You're
rare.
good.
I feel like there's no way it can explode. There's like everything you're talking about is like all it's all relevant, and it's what I want to hear selfishly. So that's good. You're just gonna get more people like that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, rock and roll, brother. Hey, that means the world to us, especially since, you know, you're kicking out the end to our season 13 finale, and much success moving forward, and happy holidays, my friend.
You too. Happy holidays, guys.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And for everybody that's here right now on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, stick around as we have more left here. So let's get it, baby. All right, rock and roll. This is What's Good, where Marissa and I would discuss, you know, things that we just want to celebrate. You know, we've been thinking about you, the CCS family, and what an incredible 2022 year it's been for both of us. I mean, honestly, we've reached such incredible milestones this year, Marissa. And I just one of the things that stuck with me that I definitely want to share and showcase to you, because without you, the CCS family, this wouldn't be possible. And just on YouTube alone, Marissa, we had over 162,000 views this year. I mean, it's just
Chris's mom. No, kidding.
Hey, what's wrong with my mom?
No, I love your mom. She's like our biggest fan.
What's wrong with my mom wanting to watch it 3 or 4 times in a row?
That's what I'm saying. I love her.
I'm just playing. No, I mean, it's such an incredible milestone, and I know, you know, Marissa and I, we've been really trying to really kick things into fruition. You know, obviously the pandemic has kicked everybody's ass this year. And, you know, just the fact alone that you guys stuck around with us during our 4th year doing this radio talk show has been so much fun. And because of that, we've had such incredible brand new contributors that have joined into the mix. I mean, one of them is our good buddy, Henrik the Wreck. He is our video game contributor. And I'm very excited to announce that's going to be starting in the new year. We have a Rage Quit show that we're going to be doing. It's our video game talk show where Henrik the Wreck and I will be hosting next year, where we talk about gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. And our goal and ambition is to eventually merge this show into discussing your favorite video games with some of the greatest industry leaders who are leading that charge into creating these cinematic video game adventures. And I hope that you guys join us along with that journey. And I can't thank all the other guests that have joined us, even for our own music podcast, Off the Fret, more music talk. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. And, you know, Marissa, has there been a certain episode that stuck out with you this year that you've been absolutely jiving with?
Oh my gosh. You know, I don't know about necessarily a certain episode. I think what was not like really shocking, but just like a wow, was the type of guests we got on this year. Like last year, we had a lot of big guests, politicians, but this year, I mean, the level of guests that we were getting and who actually reached out to us. So it wasn't us being like, hey, we love you, come on us. But we had almost every single guest on this season reached out to us wanting to be on our show. And that to me showed like our growth is obviously our reach is getting out there. Our name is getting out there. We are different. There is nothing like Chris and
There's
Marissa.
nothing like us,
the
baby.
Chris Collins Show is unique. And people realize that, and that's why they're reaching out to us. So that to me has been probably the biggest blessing I've seen this year with the show.
Well, I would say the next biggest blessing is having my co-host Marissa Pitts with me for over 4 years now. We've been, there's no one that could be able to do this show, bitch and complain and jester and
honestly,
agree
no
and disagree with.
Chris is the only person that can put up with me also, so I give you kudos.
That's true, too.
I give you I'm a strong personality, Chris, and it takes another strong, amazing personality for us to vibe together. So I always give you kudos, too. Like, you are a fabulous, wonderful, amazing person, human, host, friend. So just thank you so much.
Hey, absolutely full circle.
And
again,
gifts.
Yes.
You give good gifts.
Well, I appreciate that. The gift that keeps on giving. And again, we have to do another shout out to you, the CCS family. Thank you for supporting us for over 4+ years now. The show ain't stopping anytime soon. We're very excited for a lot of things that are developing behind the scenes. But I want to give another quick shout out again to our amazing season 13 finale guest, who is Demi the Daredevil. You can go ahead and pick up his brand new EP, My Purgatorium, out now wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you follow us on social media, our handle is at Chris Collins Show. You get more updates about season 14, guest announcements, new interviews, and so much more. And I also want to say, hey, go ahead and check out that Off the Fret music podcast. It's really, really good. We got Poe the Passenger on there with us. And if you like what you're listening to, go to thechriscollinsshow.com and become a member today and get that free CCS t-shirt. But for now, enjoy the holiday season. Please be smart. Don't drink and drive this New Year's Eve. Think about someone other than yourself, but party hard, but party safe. And I'll see you in the new year. Peace. What's good? It's Chris from the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show, featuring alternative pop rock band Poe the Passenger, amassing over 1 million streams with their debut LP, Alinea, joins Off the Fret. More music talk. What's good, party people? Chris Collins Show presents Music Storm 2022, hosted by Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts, featuring Royals, Hurricane Highway, Cannibal Kids, Amanda Cooksey, Astoria State, Kid Dad, Resounding, Sleep Cycles, Avenues, Freckles, Weather Worn, Just True, Sophia Marie, Music Storm 2022, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Our brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
I love it. It's more time to chat. Hello.
You would look so jazzy. I love your outfit. How far would you go to start playing live music again? This slaps harder than my ex when she got her stimulus check. So, are you here to bring the sexual healing with your music? It's called Everything is Everything, and I guarantee you're going to hear this song in the future. I love the flow, man. Politically charged album. So, if you get easily offended, this might not be the album for you. Brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
So excited.
Has Kim Kardashian accidentally sent you a coochie shot?
Do you want to stay there? It's completely your choice. Or you want to...
I feel you. And you know what? I love it. Off the Fret. More music talk. Peace.